right, welcome back to Politics 701, what you can expect when you flip the script. I want to jump right in we've just kind of summarized the difference between access-based politics and confrontational politics and how important it is to start thinking about these things in a different way. And so I want to prepare people for what they can expect when we start applying pressure instead of trying to get their approval. Right? Instead of taking that method. Once you start applying this political pressure, politicians generally have it's basically a 3-step response you can get every time. The first step is they're going to threaten you. Okay? Local threats, legal threats, political threats. And often it's things like, you're going to ruin your reputation. We're not going to play nice with you anymore. When that happens, you should stop and ask yourself, what do they have to gain if I believe them? And what they stand to gain is your silence. Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier with the inertia. They want you to go away. They want the topic to go away. They want to do nothing. And so if you believe these, oh, well, this really isn't, I really thought you were a different type of organization. We're not used to homeschoolers treating us this way. Really, we're gonna make sure the other people know that you're not somebody we want to work with. They want you to go away because they want that inertia, okay? So this is not a time to back down. This is a time to double down. This is a time to do more. Teach them quickly, we have to teach them quickly, that threatening us gets them nothing, okay? Like, if we cave, and honestly, like 50 to 60% of people stop right here. Well, if they badmouth us, no one will work with us, and so we better just get in line, The second step is they give you a whole bunch of excuses. Well, we have to do it this way for now. We're not in that political climate. That's not a popular idea. We mentioned some of these, the governor's going to veto it. You should have called me first. I really could have explained why this isn't the right way to do this. And here's a classic. We're going to lose seats if we push this. We're going to lose seats in the next election. You can't ask us to risk that. All of those are just translated as, I don't want the pain. I don't want to deal with the consequences of pushing your bill or stopping this bill the other team is trying to move. So this is when we have to double down again. Because when they start explaining, it means they're running out of options and they're about to cave. So this is where they come with the buy-off. And just in case it's not clear, again, I would hope that everybody listening to this applies this to every conservative topic out there. This is where 99.9% of conservative issue cluster organizations go to die, right here. If anyone's made it past step 1, you're hurting yourself. Step 2, this isn't the right time. They get to step 3, the buy-off. And you might think, oh yeah, well, I know these people wouldn't take a check. It's not a check, okay? They're going to try to pay you off or buy you off as cheaply as possible. Why don't you host a dinner with me? This is a textbook. Oh my word, this is textbook. Join my inner sanctum advisory committee. You have a lot of good ideas. We need to get you in front of more people. Why don't you come to our conference, right? You could help us write some better bills. Would you sit down with me next session and let's put our heads together? I think we could be used to do great things. Join us on the inside. This is a good one. Join us on the inside here and you could get paid to do what you're already doing. You shouldn't work this hard and get this much done in the political space and not be getting a check for it. But see, if you take that deal, and again, you've been bought off at that point. So at that point, if you take the deal, you've crossed the line. Now you've become the politician's representative to the grassroots instead of the grassroots representative to the politicians. And when that happens, the movement is dead. Okay, that is why we have seen no forward momentum on many of these social topics for decades. Okay, don't take the deal. We're not going to. We cannot settle for access. We cannot settle for come to our, so we talked about political pleasure. Okay, we talked about that. This is where they offer you some political pleasure. This is where they say to you, tell you what, I'll give you positive press. I'll sit down with you for an, all access interview. I'll come to your fundraising dinner. I'll come and I'll tell everyone in the press, oh, the such and such organization and I worked together to come up with this legislation and I'm really happy with it. I'll throw your name out. I'll give you positive press. I'll speak badly about your opponents, right? You just come work inside here for me. And even if it's not a direct paycheck, it's you get on my team and you do my work for me instead of you working for the members and supporters who have sent you up there. We can never, ever, ever settle for access. Okay, we have to double down every time. When they start saying these things and they offer to buy you off in one of these ways, it's almost never a check, okay? It's the political pleasure stuff we talked about earlier. It's meetings, donors, access, press, endorsements, throwing your name out in press as a big help in this fight, or, we've listened to their concerns and we're so grateful for their input. You've seen it 100 times in conservative politics, okay? We are not doing that. The Homeschool Freedom Coalition, the day that you see me sell that stuff to y'all on a video, dump the page, leave the Facebook page, go on your social and say that the Homeschool Freedom Coalition sold out big. That's what needs to happen. We need to hold our own selves accountable. And I promise you from the core of my being that the team here at the Homeschool Freedom Coalition will never, ever, ever compromise with these people, because we know how to win. And it's not by selling out, softening the message, compromising, give a little, take a little, joining their advisory committees, going to dinners in the Capitol, where they're going to drop their credit card for a $300 steak. That is not how you win. That's how you get bought. And we're not doing it. So I hope that's been helpful. Again, I hope that you can see this apply to lots of other political situations. I hope you can see how this applies to lots of other political situations in other conservative issue clusters. And hopefully you can see as we walk down this road together how important it is to have this mental shift and to have this pivot and to do things differently. So stay tuned for the next video. In the meantime, stay free, stay the course.